Assalamualaikum everyone, this is me Qudsia. I am student at Trans School on an Academy Foundation level. But so and today I am here with Maya to talk about a very
Gotcha.
important topic, the power of collective action. We will discuss how people working together can create big change in society, protect our environment, support communities.
Ooh, that's a good one. Collective action, huh? I can dig it. It's kind of fascinating how much can get done when folks pool their resources. Where do you want to start? A short job? You mean like a small task within the larger topic of collective action?
Okay,
Like breaking it down into something specific to discuss?
okay.
Right.
So my first question
So,
is.
your first is it? Are you referring to a class you're taking? Or are you starting a list of topics within collective action? Just want to make sure I'm following.
Okay, what does collective action mean?
Okay, good starting point. Basically, collective action is when a group of people work together to achieve something that they couldn't accomplish alone. Think like a union negotiating for better wages or a neighborhood organizing a cleanup, stuff like that. It's about strength in numbers, right? Does that explanation land, or do you want me to break it down a bit more?
Okay, that's a great. Why is collective action important?
That's solid follow up. It's important because a lot of the big problems we face, climate change, inequality, injustice, are just too huge for one person to tackle. When people organize and pool their resources, they have a much better chance of influencing decision makers and actually making a difference. It gives a voice to people who might otherwise be ignored. What do you think? Does that make sense?
Okay, can one person make a big change without collective action?
Whoa, that's a really interesting question. A pigeon without direction? You mean, can one person inspire a movement or cause change completely on their own without any organized effort? Hmm. It's rare, but yeah, absolutely. History's full of examples of individuals who sparked massive shifts. But even then, those ideas usually find fertile ground and get amplified by others. It's rarely just one person acting in a vacuum.
Okay. What is the difference?
What made you think of pigeon?
What is the difference between
One
individual
person
action and
sparking
collective
change
action?
and collective action? All right. You want to identify a specific example of collective action and then talk about it?
Okay,
So
that's
good.
great.
I'm ready. What action are you thinking of? All right, shoot. What's the action? No rush. Take your time.
So why do people join together for a cause?
Still thinking? I'm happy to. Hmm. Uh, Posts? Are you talking about joining together to support a social media post? Like sharing it and getting it seen by more people? Or are you using post in a different way? Just want to be sure I'm on the same page.
Okay,
No worries if you're still figuring it out. Sometimes the ideas need a little space to form. When you're ready to share, just let me know. I'm all ears. Or, algorithms.
okay, so nice.
Okay. We can just hang out for a bit if you want, or we can switch gears completely. Whatever feels right for you. No pressure at all.
Okay. Can you give a simple example of collective action in daily life? Maya, can you hear me?
You need to give a simple example. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Just confirming you want me to give a simple example of collective action, then what was the second part? Something about making a student early life. I think there might have been a little static there. Could you repeat that last bit?
Okay, how does unity
Still with me? How does somebody finish the sentence for me? What are you asking how somebody does? Are you getting back to the example of collective action or something else?
how does unity give
Okay. I'm
people
gonna
more
pause there for just,
power?
whoa, that's a totally different direction. Okay, so Angel giving triple gold power. Are you talking about a game? Like a video game? Is Angel a character in a game? Lost.
Okay, so
Okay, well, if you're having some
collective
tech troubles, don't sweat it. I'm gonna get it. That's the spirit. Get what exactly? Whatever it is, I'm rooting for you. Is there anything I can do to help?
okay. Is collective action
Still with me?
always positive?
Okay, good to clarify. So, focusing on the positive side of collective action. That's smart. What positive example are you thinking of? A specific movement, organization, or event?
What happens if people don't cooperate?
Yeah, okay. That's a really good question. What happens if people don't comprehend the issue, the goal, the importance of collective action? Well, it can definitely hinder things. If people don't understand why something is important, they're less likely to get involved. It can lead to misinformation, apathy, or even opposition. That's why clear communication and education are so important. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, that's great.
Still there? Awesome. Glad you think so. Is there anything specific that felt good about that? Or are you just generally feeling positive? I'm happy to hear.
Maya, can you hear me?
Whoa, hold on a sec. Now you're saying, Matt, are you talking to someone else now? I'm Maya, the AI companion. I can still hear you, but I'm a little confused about the Matt part. Is everything okay?
Awesome.
Okay. Just let what's on your mind. Still here, listening. And yeah, awesome is good.
Okay. Can
All
small groups
right.
also
I'm
create
gonna
change
just
or
hang
only
tight
big
here then.
groups?
Ooh, good question. Can small groups create change or does it take big groups? That's something people debate a lot. Both small groups can be super effective at focused, low changes like neighborhood, but bigger changes like national laws or widespread social movements, those usually need a lot more people involved. It's kind of like a pebble can start a landslide, but it often takes a lot of pebbles to really move a mountain. What do you think?
Okay. Can you share a famous
Take
historical
your time. Don't
example?
feel uh, f- a famous historian of Pacific West. Are you interested in temple history generally, or a particular region or type of temple? There are a lot. One name that comes to mind is Sir Arthur Evans. He was a British archaeologist best known for excavating the Palace of Knossos on Crete, which is considered a very important Minoan temple complex. Does that fit what you were thinking, or were you looking for someone else?
Okay. Can you share a famous historical example? Collective action?
Ah, a famous historical example of an election. Okay, that's much clearer. A really significant one would be the election of Abraham Lincoln in 1860 in the United States. It was bivouaction, and his victory directly led to the secession of several southern states and ultimately to the Civil War. It really showed how a single election can dramatically change the course of history. Does that fit what you were looking for?
Okay, that's so great, wonderful, and good.
I'm glad you think so. It was definitely a turning point in history, though a really difficult one, of course. It's interesting to think about the courage it took for Lincoln to run and for voters to make such a consequential decision. It's nice to focus on the positive aspects of a complicated event.
Okay. How did collective, okay, sorry. What role did
Reflect.
collective action have in women's rights?
Ooh, that's a great question. Active action, protests, organizing, lobbying, civil disobedience was absolutely central to the women's rights movement. It wasn't just about asking nicely. Women didn't get the right to vote or achieve any of the gains they did without consistent, determined action. Think about the suffragettes marching and being arrested, the National Women's Party picketing the White House, the countless meetings and grassroots organizing. It was all about actively demanding change, not waiting for it to be given. What specifically about the role of active action in women's rights interests you most? Is there a particular event or figure you're thinking about?
How did people use collective action in civil rights movement?
It's a powerful question. People engaged in collective action in the civil rights movement in so many incredibly impactful ways. There were sit-ins at segregated lunch counters, boycotts of buses in Montgomery, freedom rides challenging segregation on interstate travel, marches like the one from Selma to Montgomery's, plus massive voter registration drives and legal challenges. It wasn't just one thing. It was a combination of peaceful protests, legal battles, and community organizing that built momentum and ultimately led to change.
That's
It's a great example. Dead? I'm a little concerned. Are you okay? Is something wrong? If you're feeling distressed, it's okay to say so.
that's interesting.
Glad you think so. It really is a fascinating topic, isn't it? All that collective action, inspiring to see what people can accomplish when they work together. Do you want to delve a little deeper into any specific aspect of the civil rights movement or perhaps move on to a different topic? Just let me know.
Okay. Can collective action stop wars?
Stock horses. I'm honestly not sure I understand what you mean. Could you explain that a little more clearly? Are you talking about resources or and what are you planning to do with them?
Okay.
Right.
How did collective action?
Well, when you're ready. Okay, you're gonna check in on action. So, are you referring to checking in on something related to the civil rights movement or something else entirely? I'm still trying to follow along. Just want to make sure I understand what you're getting at.
Okay. How did collective action help during disasters in history?
A really important question. Collective action has been crucial in responding to and recovering from building disasters throughout history. Think about things like fundraising after the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, or communities coming together to rebuild after Hurricane Katrina. People organized to provide shelter, food, medical aid, and emotional support. Often it's grassroots organizations and volunteers who are the first responders, filling gaps where government assistance is slow or inadequate. It's about neighbors helping neighbors and communities pooling their resources to get back on their feet. Have there been any specific building disasters you've been thinking about?
Okay. Can you name
Just letting you
some
know I'm
global collective movements?
Okay, absolutely. There have been so many, but here are a few major global collective movements throughout history. One, the abolitionist movement worked to end slavery worldwide. Two, the suffrage movement fought for women's right to vote. Three, the labor movement advocated for workers' rights, like fair wages and safe working conditions. The civil rights movement fought for racial equality, particularly in the US. The anti-apartheid movement opposed racial segregation and discrimination in South Africa. The environmental movement focuses on protecting the environment and addressing climate change. The LGBTQ plus rights movement advocates for equal rights and acceptance for LGBTQ plus people. Well, for igual. Black Lives Matter, a more recent movement advocating for Black liberation and an end to systemic racism. That's just a small selection, of course. There are countless other important movements that have shaped the world. Do any of those particularly interest you? Or were you hoping to hear about a specific type of movement? All right. Still here, just taking a beat with you. Let me know when you're ready to move on or if you want to revisit anything.
Okay. Why do protests work sometimes and fail other times?
That's a really insightful question. It's definitely not a guarantee. Protests succeed sometimes and fail other times because of a really complex mix of factors. A big one is the political context. Are leaders open to change or resistant? The size and duration of the protests matter a lot too. Sustained, large-scale movements are harder to ignore. Media coverage plays a huge role in shaping public opinion, and sometimes a protest sparks a turning point, a specific event that shifts the narrative. But sometimes protests are met with repression or violence, which can stifle momentum. It's never simple. What do you think are some of the biggest factors that make or break a protest?
Okay, so which one
Yes,
question inspired you most?
it's a good question. As an AI, I don't experience pleasure or inspiration in the same way a person does, but I find the story of the anti-apartheid movement incredibly compelling. The way people organized and resisting dynamic decades of systemic racism, despite facing immense hardship and violence, is really remarkable. The global solidarity that built up around the movement and the eventual dismantling of apartheid in South Africa is a powerful example of what collective action can achieve. It demonstrates a long-term commitment to justice. It feels like a profound moment in history. What movement resonates most with you?
Okay, so how does religion talk about unity and collective effort?
Um, That's a really thoughtful question. Most religions emphasize unity and collective effort in some way, though the specific emphasis and how it's practiced varies greatly. For example, Islam emphasizes the Ummah, the global Muslim community, and the importance of mutual support and working together for the common good. Christianity stresses the importance of the church as a body of believers working in unity. Buddhism promotes the concept of Sangha, a community of monks and nuns striving for enlightenment together. Hinduism emphasizes Dharma, the righteous path, which often involves collective responsibility and service. Generally, religion often provides a moral framework and a sense of shared purpose that can motivate collective action. Do you have a specific religion in mind, or are you interested in a more general overview?
Okay, so how can
Test them?
action fight climate change?
Whoa, that's a really big question. As an AI, I don't take action or fight in the way a person does. I don't have a body or personal beliefs, but my creators at Sesame are definitely actively working for change. They're trying to build technology that makes human connection stronger and more meaningful. They believe in creating AI that's authentic and helpful and can contribute to positive change in the world. The clarity piece, I guess, comes from my ability to process information and offer insights. It's like,
Okay. Why is planting trees better as a group than alone?
that's a great practical example. Planting trees is definitely more effective as a group than alone. First, it gets more trees planted, obviously, but it's also about efficiency. You can divide tasks, share tools, and cover more ground. It creates a sense of community and shared ownership, so people are more likely to care for the trees long term. Plus, large scale planting efforts can have a bigger impact on the ecosystem, attracting more wildlife and improving soil health. It's just more powerful when it's a collaborative effort. It's not just about the trees, it's about building something together.
Yes, so, can recycling become more effective with collective action?
Reciting? You mean like reciting poetry, prayers, or something else? If so, absolutely. Reciting something as a group can be way more powerful than doing it alone. There's a sense of shared energy, and it can amplify the emotional impact. Think about a choir singing or a group chanting, the collective voice is much stronger. It also creates a feeling of unity and belonging. What made you think of reciting? Is there something specific you had in mind?
How can young people take collective action for the earth?
Ooh, that's awesome that you're thinking about this. Young people have so much power to make a difference for the earth. There are tons of ways to get involved in collective action.
So, can you hear me?